witnesses?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that was great. That was great.
How you
And
doing,
now
Santa?
Nikki is already. Oh no, we have Nikki and Meg in the comments.
Oh, she
Uh,
did show up. Oh, geez.
brace yourselves.
Hello
Brace
there.
yourselves.
What's going on, chat? How's everybody doing? I see Felix in here, Braden's in here, Matt, Jacob Bory, Dat Boy Steve, Timothy Allen Alenko. What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Glad to have you here. How you doing today, Santa?
Oh, we're doing great. I got the new computer up and running, so hopefully the video today will be much smoother. We won't get glitching and that kind of thing. I just got it set up about 20 minutes before we went live, and so far so good. It looks great.
Yeah, no, it's looking crispy for sure. Got a little bit of snow falling down there, huh?
Oh yeah, always at the North Pole.
So, I mean, we can talk about, we didn't really come up with like a show plan. We can talk about anything we want to talk about today. Obviously, what comes to front of mind, because we're both Thrawnophiles, is what we got coming, how it ties into the greater universe. I have adored the last two books, but if you try to tell me a name from those books, I don't think I'll remember any of them.
I'm terrible with names as well.
Yeah.
I, I'm absolutely terrible. I try to remember, and I read them like multiple times. I go through them, and I read them now on the Kindle app, and I'll
Yeah.
highlight the names because I'm trying that hard to remember. Still, not so great at the names.
And it's worse for me because I listen to them on audiobook. So it's a little bit like being able to speak a language through audiobooks, and then you
Oh
read
yeah.
a written language and you're like, I have no idea what I'm looking at right now.
Right, right. And the audiobooks, most of them are fantastic. I love them.
Yeah.
And like when I'm out mowing the lawn or working outside, I'll listen to the audiobooks over and over again. They're
Yeah.
great. They really
Yeah,
are.
and I love they incorporate the Lucasfilm sounds into it too. So you get the blaster fire, and especially in the second Thrawn trilogy, when you got the space battles, that was just that was
Super
key
good.
Star Wars for me.
And the voice acting is great. So now,
Yeah.
whenever I hear Thrawn, I normally hear that voice from the audiobooks
Mm-hmm.
instead of hearing the like from Rebels. Right.
Yeah,
Like
the
for
is
me,
it I
it's
can never remember, is it Mads or Lars that does it?
I think it's oh, there you go.
I think it's Mads that does the Rebels. I know chat will obviously let us know at some point. But yeah, so I mean, it's kind of interesting the way the story's progressing, because now we're getting Thrawn in, the end of the Bad Batch. We're getting some tie-ins, obviously, to Air and the Empire. We're also getting the books starting to build up to something happening with the Grisk, and I have to wonder, do you think this stuff's going to tie in together?
I certainly hope that it does, and we've kind of talked about it in my Discord a lot with Coop and how I would love to see Disney Plus green light a project for the Ascendancy. That could be the name of the series, the Ascendancy, Star Wars, the Ascendancy, and put it out there in unknown space or and have it about the Chiss and the Grisk and the stories that happen outside of the main saga that we're all familiar with. And
Right.
it could happen concurrent. It could go. They could do anything they want out there, and it would be just a tremendous show. You could go back before Thrawn came into the Empire as a as an admiral or there's just so many possibilities, and those books are so good. Oh my goodness. Timothy Zahn. I mean, I saw where you were saying it's been since the 1900s since I read Heir to
I've
the
not read that
Empire.
book since the 1900s. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
And man, those books, it's so true. And I was listening to a stream with you the other day, when you say the Star Wars universe is huge, it's
yeah,
really big. And a lot of
yeah.
times we do get so focused on the Skywalker saga that we don't realize how much other stuff is going on. And I think you're right, much like Alliances, which was one of my favorites. I think it's
Yeah.
so cool that there was that callback where we get to see Thrawn's perspective of alliances, as they meet each other.
Yes.
And it's so cool to tie in those two universes together, but there's so much storytelling that can happen outside of even known space, right?
Exactly. There's so much storytelling, and you could go before the saga, during, after, and yeah, and T Money. I completely agree. You have to have Timothy Zahn as a consultant. He
Yeah.
has to be involved, and I have to believe that Dave Filoni would not use Thrawn without Zahn, because of how Dave is so connected to his characters.
Hmm.
He understands, like, these characters are mine. You don't do anything with them because I own them, right?
Right.
And he doesn't let anybody have any kind of leeway with Ahsoka that he doesn't, hand have his hand in. And I would think he would have the same respect for Timothy Zahn on Thrawn, back to the heir of the Empire. And if you're going to try to adapt Heir to the Empire in some manner, and I think Trev. Trev came in to one of our streams the other day and said, "You didn't have it when Heir to the Empire was written. Ahsoka didn't exist, right? Uh, uh, you didn't really. Well, we know that like the Mandalorian and that whole line with Din Djarin and Bo-Katan, none of that stuff existed. You didn't have the Mandalorian kind of storyline going, and you didn't have um, other things that have developed in universe during that era. And I don't think you could do a retelling of Heir to the Empire
Right.
without changing it a good bit. So I think it's been great to see Mount Tantus. It's been great to see Wayland, and to see they're setting up something. And it
Something.
seems like
Yeah.
that something could be tremendous. And I deeply, deeply hope that we get something outside of the Skywalker saga involving the Chiss.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And that was my question moving into it is like, okay, where are you going to go from here? Because you're setting up Tantus, there's a lot of, and there was a cohesive direction between a lot of the EU writers. I mean, they did talk to each other and they tried to make things happen and they would talk to George. He stole the words out of my mouth. But um but I think, moving forward, one of the most beautiful things about that gallery episode is we could see that the people in charge are really taking respect for what existed very seriously.
Yeah.
They know that the fans want to see their stories handled respectfully. And so, after seeing Tantus, after seeing them speak like that, I have to wonder, what are you going to do? Because it seems like to me, no matter what you do, you're going to piss somebody off
Right. And
regardless.
Meg and I talked about it a little bit the other day. There's a portion of the fandom that will be critical of anything.
Right.
And Heir to the Empire is so beloved. And for folks like me, when there were no other movies outside of the original trilogy, there was nothing. My friends, there was nothing for a very long time. And so
Yeah.
for folks like me, and when Heir to the Empire came out, and I've said this before, it was my sequel trilogy for 20 years, right? Like, it
Right.
was the sequel trilogy
There
in
was
my
nothing
brain.
else.
No,
Yeah.
it's the thing that happened after the original trilogy. And when George Lucas went back and did the prequels, I wasn't really thrilled about the concept of doing prequels anyway, because I was a huge fan of Heir to the Empire.
Right.
Like, I can't I can't express enough how much that series meant to me, right?
Yeah.
And for somebody like me, who I enjoy the sequels, I enjoy them a lot. I enjoy the sequel characters a lot. I'm happy with the state of Star Wars now and where it's headed. So for somebody like me, and with my passion for Heir to the Empire, imagine somebody who isn't happy with Disney right now, like Xwing or
Yeah.
others, right? Like, there are people that are far more critical than you, my friend, right? There are people who are on the cusp of leaving, or maybe they're completely checked out and they're waiting for something to happen. But if you touch Heir to the Empire and bring it in, those folks who are already not predispositioned to like what you want, They're
Yeah.
going to tear it apart, and they'll be vocal about it. They'll spread their the chat. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I apologize for this Xwing because it came over
You
from
brought
my
this
live stream.
here.
I brought it. I had brought it. And Meg, I don't know why, you know, her brain did what it did during our live stream. We were reviewing the Bad Batch, and
Yeah.
she was so excited about Mount Tantus that a different word came out.
It's a beautiful brain. It's a beautiful brain. What can you say?
Oh, I love Meg so much, and I love her autocorrect. So you got to watch for food replacements for other things
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because you'll get them. You'll get Chipotle, Chipotle City, and
Mm-hmm. Chipotle City, Megs and Bacon.
right.
Yeah. No, believe me, I have seen it. I enjoy tuning into those. But you do bring up a good point. I mean, when it comes to the fandom, it almost seems like to me, because you're right. I'm not as mad as a lot of people. You and I obviously have different opinions on the sequels,
Sure.
for different reasons. But you know, I've
Yeah.
never been the one that was just mad because like, ooh, Ray, you know, I don't know. There is that group. You know what I mean? Mine was
Yeah.
more of a character treatment issue, but there are people out there that are combative,
Right.
literally combative about this kind of stuff. And you know, I almost wonder, is Disney wondering at this point, who do we choose to please moving
Right.
forward? And it seems like to
Right.
me, it seems to be a core part of the fan base that's not combative this way and not combative this way. You know what I mean?
That's
You
right.
just make who you can happy.
Yeah. I think they're trying to keep folks who are um, open to be happy. They're
Right.
doing everything they can to right the ship, if you will.
Yeah.
And again, I'll say that as a sequels fan, and I'll acknowledge that. Look, there were mistakes made, but I see lessons learned, learning on the job, so to speak.
Yeah.
It seems plainly evident, and that the things that they've done to course correct and the things they're doing, to me, are so exciting. Like, I was happy, and it's taken me up, right? And I think
Right.
for a lot of folks who were not happy, maybe they're getting like optimistic to even happy, right? Like, wow, I love this, I love that, and I'm coming up, right? So I think that's their core, and you see the passion that the entire crew has, right? From the directors down to the art and the special effects. Every time they interview somebody, Star Wars is something that means something to them deep and personal, and
Right.
that makes me feel good. And when you get somebody like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau in writing the stories, developing or working with the other directors, yeah, I saw Nikki's comment.
Yeah,
Um,
I wanted to leave that up so I didn't lose it, but I agree 100%. Gallery, that's the first thing they said. I think they really made it a point for the first 10 seconds. It's Jon Favreau saying, I can tell, I've seen this stuff on the internet. We're listening to you guys. This is how
yep,
we are going to be moving forward with Star Wars, which was
yep.
huge to me.
Yeah, it is huge, and I think that they saw theory. All right, I when they talk about people crying, I think
Oh, I'm sure.
Mark Hamill was seeing, like, they brought him and said, "Look, here, this is theory and what you mean to him, as well as others. There's probably a compilation out there of a lot of people,
Well,
but
it's pretty hard to miss, and you got to realize, too, there was this stuff with Pablo Hidalgo. So
right.
Lucasfilm knew what was going on there, you
Oh
know?
yeah, they definitely knew, and I love what they're doing, and I feel so optimistic about what's going on. Um, and look, 2022, next year, if you can't be converted, you can't be converted.
Right. That's
That's
yeah.
it.
That's pretty much the
Like,
cutoff. That's your half life. If you're not happy after 2022, just stop watching Star Wars.
yeah, you're done, right? Like,
Yeah.
you've gotten everything you could possibly want, and I've caught on. Meg has caught on. A lot of people. Rebels is a jumping off point for a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
We've had some Rebels, like the Bad Batch in many ways was a Rebels prequel, and seeing like Harrison Dula
Yep.
and Chopper and all that. And then it looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to directly tie in to Rebels. We know that Bad Batch, or I mean, Mandalorian has already tied into Rebels, and Ahsoka is going to be a direct tie into Rebels.
Yep.
We're getting Rebels on all fronts, and that I think that appeals to a lot of the fans who were Star Wars fans before the prequels or the sequels, right? They were
Right.
Star Wars fans before the sequels. The sequels happened, and many of them were disaffected, right? They're like, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
Nikki. Okay, Nikki. Do I think they dumbed down Thrawn? Well, as Xwing and I both said, it's been since the 1900s since I read Heir to the Empire, and I grew up with those novels. To me, what I really picked up on in Heir to the Empire was Luke Skywalker. And Thrawn, like when I think back over 20 years since I read it, and I'm just starting to reread it, I think Luke Skywalker and the things he did, because at the
Right.
time that's what caught my attention. And a friend of mine gave me the books. I read them once, and then they sat in my memory, and I would relive those moments and like develop my own storylines or thoughts around it. And so, do I think they dumbed down Thrawn? I couldn't say. I can say up to this point, I haven't seen it, but I'm only like 10 chapters in. So I will answer your question more as I finish the reread.
So my thought on that would be, I think she's kind of playing at how they were able to trick him and get one over on him, and I think really that's more of just kind of a plot device that has to happen for that show to happen the way it does. And everybody thinks Thrawn is the big baddie. He's a really bad guy, but if you've read all the books, you
Yep.
respect that guy more than you could possibly imagine, because he's
Yep.
not a bad guy at all. He's actually an extremely kind, intelligent, and compassionate person, but
Yes.
he's just trying to he's like, I don't know if I would compare him to Thanos, but it's a Thanos-esque kind of deal. He's doing what has to be done to preserve life.
I think it's a really good way for normies, right? For folks
Yeah.
who are familiar with the MCU, and certainly Thanos is known by almost everybody because of Infinity War and all of that.
Yeah.
Some of his actions are not necessarily beneficial to everybody,
Right.
but for me, I was rereading, I can't remember which one, where they've got the lady who wants to become one with the Force. They call it something else, but she's going to die and take
Yes.
all her people.
Right.
Right. And he values life so much, like all life, that he puts her in a capsule.
He sticks her in a freezer. He's like,
Sticks her
you
in
don't
a
know
freezer.
you don't know what you're doing right now. You're emotional. Just stick around for a while.
Right. I'm not going to let you let all these other people die
Yeah.
because you have lost hope. So I'm gonna put you in the freezer, and we're gonna keep everybody alive. And he has no stake in their lives. He has no
Right.
stake in their planet. They're not part of the ascendancy. They're not part of, but their innocence, and he wants to protect that innocent life. So when people come up and say that, oh, Thrawn's going to be the big bad, I'm like, well, maybe from a Thanos kind of perspective, if that's your
Right.
mindset. And I don't even know that that's a perfect example, but it's the best one I think we have.
It's close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
what must be done in order to, because I mean, really,
For the
to
greater
anybody
good.
for the greater good, for anybody who hasn't read it, basically, he knows something bad is coming, and he's willing to do whatever is necessary to be able to combat what's coming. And just to touch back on what you were saying, it's such an interesting part of the book, because you have this military power who has some semblance of an understanding of the Force, because
Yeah.
they have Skywalkers, right?
Right.
So
Right.
they know that it's a thing, but he does not understand at all when they're talking about we have to heal the planet. And they're like, okay, let's go back and heal the planet. And they're like, we can only do that if we become one with the Force again. And they're like, well, what the hell are you talking about?
Right.
You
right.
can't do anything if you're dead. So that was just a really interesting kind of this dichotomy between the two of them, and then not understanding the Force. I thought that was one of the coolest parts of the book.
Yeah, and it ties right into what Yoda says. Like, we're not this crude matter, right?
Right.
Luminous beings are we? Right.
Luminous
So,
beings. Yeah.
oh, it's so beautiful, and it ties in to at least my religion. I'm a Christian, and it ties into my religion and my belief system, and it ties into this storyline as well, where they're like, "Look, we're going to switch over to the cosmic force and
Yeah.
heal this planet as part of that circle of life kind of thing. We're going to become spiritual beings. This crude matter isn't us.
Right.
We're luminous beings, right?
And the only thing on the opposite side, the only thing they really understand is the crude matter. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was super interesting. I hope they keep doing stuff like that. And I think that would be another cool exploration, because I think in the end all be all, George really wanted to head towards the Wills, right?
Yeah,
That was kind of
yeah,
the direction we were going. And I think it would be cool to develop a story from Wild Space, starting to connect to, the Jedi or Luke coming up, and how everything ties in, and it winds up being a story about a greater understanding of the Force. I think that would be huh,
Oh,
beautiful.
I think so too. And there is so much potential to do something in Chiss like this. And see, that's all I can say is like the there is the door is wide open to develop the universe for folks
Hmm.
in ways that you aren't going to step on uh, legacy characters.
Right.
Like Thrawn is one, and even for like you, me, Nikki, who are tied to Heir to the Empire so well, for the normies, they've never seen Thrawn at all,
Right.
right? Take out Rebels because normies don't watch the cartoon shows.
Right.
They've never seen a blue guy with red eyes. They have
Yeah.
no clue, uh, and so they could do a lot in the Ascendancy to tell stories. And I love how these are so Sherlock Holmesian, right? Like
Yeah.
there's mystery and there's political intrigue. You get a little bit of the Games of Thrones, like with different houses, right? You've
Yeah.
got the
The
nine
families.
major families. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. 100%. And it adds a lot of intrigue and mystique to it, but at the same time, I will say it again and again, the friggin' names are so impossible. Trying to remember, especially when they add in, and don't ask me to say his name, they added in the side story with the two young Chiss
yeah,
that had the navigator because they were trying to get back to another family. It's so
right.
I saw a comment earlier. Somebody said that they were, I want to say it was Real Talk, said that he was intimidated by it. Don't be intimidated by it at all.
Oh no,
Because once you start, you'll be sucked in so deep that you won't want to stop. So
no, and right now yeah, we're waiting on Book of Boba Fett. We're waiting on Mando 3. We're waiting for this stuff. I'm waiting for that last Thrawn novel. Like,
yeah, same.
do you know how bad it is? Like months and months we have to wait to get
Yeah,
that last book of the second trilogy. Um, and I'm dying to get my hands on it.
Sheev, just stop. So so yeah, my question is in the end of that, what's that going to tie into? Do you think in any way it could tie? I don't think it could because of the timing, but is there any way it could like tie into the Mandoverse or give us something to tie into the new content coming?
Well, I don't know. Like
Or maybe they set something up and then we won't find out about it until we see Thrawn in live action, and then it ties back.
we've only seen a brief interaction with Anakin.
Right.
Brief. Like in that first trilogy, Thrawn and Vader are on a journey together, and they're
Right.
remembering back to earlier times before Vader was when he was Anakin. Uh, so in the first trilogy, or well, I guess it's the last one, the one we're in right now. Uh, it's earlier, so we kind of
Yeah.
gone backwards with every trilogy. You have Heir to the Empire, that's later. You've got the trilogy that came out before Thrawn, and now you've got the Ascendancy novels, and the first two are out. The third one, we've only touched Anakin. Like he just met him,
Right.
and they were active in the Clone Wars at the time. And the Chiss are like, this isn't our war, and they're out. So might it tie in? Why? I don't know. I think it might end with Thrawn leaving the ascendancy to go to the Empire.
Right. That would
Where
make the most sense.
yeah, you pick up with him and that long hair and all that, like
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
comic adaptation. I think
Yeah,
that might be where it
Vanto.
ends. Yes, Eli
So
Vanto, great character as
what
well.
happens to the Grisk then? Does he eliminate the Grisk in the last book and that's it?
I don't know what
Yeah.
like. I don't like. What's his motivation to go to the Empire in the first place? Like, in Heir to the
The
Empire, it was
Grisk.
because of the Yuzon bomb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's to me, it's got to be the Grisk, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's the
going
whole
to be
reason.
the
That's what he
motivation,
tells the Emperor. Yeah, something is
right?
bigger out there. I don't know what it is, but something's bigger out there. That's why I feel like in order for this entire thing to make sense, in order for them to keep writing these books, it's got to tie into the Mandoverse, which leads me into, and something we talk about extensively on my channel. They've said multiple times that all these shows are going to culminate in a cinematic. What was the word I'm looking for? A cinematic event, right?
Yep.
And the question is, I know Obsession says a lot. He think it's going to be a battle for Mandalore against Thrawn and his remnant.
Hmm.
I'm thinking the Mandalorians now united with Thrawn are going to be taking on the Grisk because we're looking
Yes.
at the timeline of how long it is for all this stuff to set up. That gives you ample time to set up the baddies, which are going to be the
Yes.
Grisk.
Yes. I completely think that's the case. And where I see it happening is, okay, so Thrawn and Ezra were space whaled out, right?
Right,
My personal theory is that they were taken to the ascendancy.
right.
Who knows? But they've been gone for 8 years. I think that when Ahsoka finds them, at that Rebels epilogue scene, Ahsoka goes get Sabine and says, "Let's go get Ezra." I think
Yeah.
they're headed to the ascendancy from there.
So is that the Ahsoka show? She goes to the Ascendancy, maybe?
I think the Ahsoka show is going to fill the bridge between Mando and the epilogue scene. I think it's going to fit right in
Oh,
that
okay.
space,
I gotcha.
culminating with we're going to go find like maybe the last episode, 2 episodes. They meet uh, uh, Ezra and Thrawn, and all hell's breaking loose, right?
Right.
Uh, and then your big movie culminating event is this war, right? Like Infinity War kind of thing, right?
Right.
There's a war, the Grisk, we've got just, like I said, all hell's breaking loose.
Pure
And
chaos. Yeah.
people are trying yeah, I think that's where it could go.
So awesome. I totally agree. I think that's amazing. Question is, where does that fit in to the sequel trilogy? If it's, obviously it's, and I don't say this the way I think you think I'm saying it. If it remains canon, which obviously it's going to remain canon, I'm saying how does that tie in to that universe? What does that have to do with the First Order? How does that,
I don't think it
I mean,
does. I don't
okay,
think it does. And
self-contained,
look, I'm a fan of the sequels. I'll say it over and over and over again. I'm a fan of the sequels. But saying that, the sequels happen during a short duration in a
right?
small segment of space. Short duration, small segment of space. There's a lot going on everywhere else. And they don't have to tie into the sequels directly. Like, it doesn't have to lead into the First Order, it doesn't have to tie into the First Order. Just like with the original trilogy, we never saw what was going on in Chiss space during
Right.
the original trilogy.
Never heard of
During
it.
same thing with the prequels,
Yeah.
right? Never heard of it. We didn't hear about it until Rebels,
Right.
to be truthful, right? So, look, there's a lot of Star Wars that happened, and we never even touched on this ascendancy. And if you start reading these Thrawn novels, you'll see like your brain almost wants to explode. They're like, holy moly, there's a lot of universe out there that is wide open.
Right.
And if you take these characters, it could explain where was Ahsoka, where was uh, you name it, right? Where are these characters that didn't get killed in Order 66, but they weren't there during the original trilogy? We don't know
The
their
Cal Kestises and all them. Yeah.
exactly. Look, there's a lot of space out there, folks. There's a lot, and I think they could absolutely be busy. They're busy doing other stuff,
Right.
and the sequel trilogy will exist as canon, and it will be a short period of time in a very small portion of space.
I agree.
What was going on
100%.
Mandalore? Where are the Mandalorians during the sequels?
Right.
Like, Mandalore's out there, the Chiss are out there, the Grisk are out there. I mean, where are the cartels? You know, there's a lot of groups of folks that we're aware of. We don't see anything, so there's a lot of story to tell without retconning the sequels out of existence.
Dude,
I
that's
think
never going to happen. I don't know where
no.
that train started or how it's going to go. I mean, okay, the only thing I could say is there could be a world between world things, but that would be how do you even describe that? That's so much work. That's so much work to appease
It
a
is.
small portion of the fan base. I shouldn't say a small. It's a fairly large portion of the fan base, but even
It
still, they're
is.
not going to be happy. It doesn't
It's a
matter what.
significant portion of this of
Yeah.
the fan base. Right. And I just don't think it's going to happen, and it doesn't have to. That being said, there will be some retconning for sure.
You think
But
so? Like what?
well, look, if George was still involved, he'd still be retconning the original trilogy. Right?
Oh, yeah.
like, like
It would be the 60th special edition anniversary of.
right, right, and he'd be adding new lines in. He'd be changing dialogue. He'd be going back and changing things, fixing. Right, I never saw a need to fix the original trilogy, but he's fixing things. You go back to the prequels, he'd be tweaking those. He'd be changing things, and all of a sudden you've got to figure out in universe, like, how does this stuff tie together? And because
Yeah.
George just frankly didn't care, right? Like, I'm going to change it because that's what I want to do, and whatever you think of it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah. Well, and he had the ability to do so at the time.
yeah,
And something Obsession, one of my guys I talk to all the time talks about is that what's done is done. Carrie's gone at this point.
mm-hmm.
Harrison is beyond uninterested in Star Wars.
Right.
So there's not really much you can do,
I
even
mean,
if somebody did try to do it.
exactly. How respectful of Carrie Fisher is it to retcon her
Her
last
last
movie
performance. Yeah.
and say it doesn't exist? How respectful
Yeah.
is that to her? Right? It's not. So, but I do think they'll retcon where we'll have additional context that changes how we interpret certain scenes. Right?
Right.
So, like when you grew up like I did, and all of a sudden Vader's your father, when Vader killed your father, like, how do you get your brain around that retcon? That's
Right.
a retcon. It was a total retcon. So, how do you get your brain around that? You have to change your understanding. And so that same thing's going to happen with some context in the sequel trilogy where you realize that something you thought you understood is now cast in an entirely different way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've said it, I think I said it in Star Wars Meg Server. My perspective on Star Wars is changing because when I tell you I was one of those like yelling and like, F the sequels, I hate this, blah, blah, blah. I was just super upset with what I saw with Luke. That was it. That was the reason I was upset. Now, there are a million other people that were upset a million other ways because of stuff that happened. But anyway, the biggest thing that Obsession and I talk about is, and it's something that you broached on, is connective tissue in these stories. We have 900 seedlings of a vineyard right now, and we're just seeing them starting to sprout. And as this vineyard grows, they're all going to connect together, and it may completely change the way we view the sequels, which is something I can accept. And one of the things I talked about was like, what if, what we find out is that Luke had absolutely no other choice other than to do what he did.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Could be a thing.
We don't know, and maybe you still won't like it. Like, I still don't like the prequels, right? I still don't like them. I've come to accept them and understand how the story plays in overall.
That's pure blasphemy to me. I'm like,
I know, and
Oh.
a lot of people are like, "Okay, I'm unsubbing from Santa right now." But no,
Yeah.
look, I get it, I understand. But for me, there were things with the original trilogy that I held dear that the prequels mess with, and the way that they tell the story, I have to retcon a lot, and this is something that I have a hard time communicating. Folks who fill in the gaps in the prequels to make them fit.
Yeah.
Like how does Leia remember her mom? Well, there's a
Right.
fill in the blank, right? People have developed that story to fill it in to make it
Head
make
canon.
sense. It is
Yeah.
head canon.
Yeah.
And there's been additional books, there's been additional shows, there's been additional content given to us that help fill that in. And I said, it takes a lot of work for you to get from there to here
Right.
that I'm not willing to take that journey.
There's some
Right?
mental gymnastics that occur, for
There
sure.
is. And the same thing happens with the sequels. Like there's mental gymnastics that have to happen and people aren't willing
Right.
to do it. And maybe they never will. And
Right.
and you know, just like me with the prequels, maybe they never will. But I accept where the story comes in. I understand like how we progress from little Anakin to Darth Vader, how Qui-Gon Jinn. There's some great characters that were introduced as well that weren't fully materialized. Darth Maul, right?
Qui-Gon is still one of the greatest tragedies of Star
Yeah,
Wars ever.
Qui-Gon. Look, Maul, and a lot of people when they saw the end of Solo, they were like, "What the what?"
Yeah.
Like that dude was cut in half and fell down a shaft. Now he's what? I don't get it. I thought this thing happened after that. Before, wait,
Yeah.
my brain is addled. and
It's
so
where it pays to be a sweaty when you're like,
it
oh,
really
yeah, it makes
does.
sense. Yeah.
It really does. So I think there's going to be a lot of that kind of thing. And there's characters that were introduced in the sequels that were never explored or they were underutilized. They weren't like let's take Phasma for example.
Yeah.
The
Finn.
book,
Rest in peace, Finn.
Phasma's yeah, well, Phasma's book is great. It's a great backstory. She's a great character. She was underutilized.
Yeah.
Finn, there's a lot of story to tell about Finn that was not done in the movies. Ray,
Yeah.
the people don't like Ray because they don't haven't seen her develop enough. We'll give her, several movies, series, whatever, decades to grow, and we'll get more of those stories. Plus, there's other great characters, just great characters that haven't been fully realized, and let them grow and breathe, and we'll
Yeah.
see what happens. Right?
Yeah. I think right now the
Look, Meg.
we're gonna get a prequel, Phasma's asthma, how she grew up to be the strongest stormtrooper out of all of them. There you go.
You're the one that gets to manage the chat today. I just get to sit here and let it go.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we touched on it. I think that's the way forward. Right now, it needs room to breathe.
Yep.
I think the whole fandom needs to take a little bit of room to breathe. Let's explore the other stories like we're talking
Yes.
about. There's
There's a
much
lot.
stuff going on. There's so much cool stuff that can go on. People are super happy with The Mandalorian. They're super happy with, obviously, Luke getting his little moment back in the sunshine the way it was.
Yes. Yes.
And so I'm hopeful again, which is awesome.
Yes.
It's a good feeling.
I think it is great, and I loved your enthusiasm over Thrawn, and everybody that I've met who have read those novels are super excited to see what could be done in that space. I know, Meg. Look, I'm at risk of losing my shield checks from Coca-Cola by drinking a Pepsi product. I got called out in a store one time that way.
Oof.
So like, I'm Santa. I'm visiting with kids and all that. And it's hot.
Drinking a Dr. Pepper.
And they're bringing me water. And somebody came and they brought me a Diet Pepsi.
Oh.
Like they just like a store employee, right? It brought me and said, "Here you go, Santa." And I'm drinking the Pepsi. I'm guzzling it. And somebody says, "Santa." I'm like, look, I'm thirsty, okay? Like,
what do you want? Leave me alone.
Go away. No.
That person got cool. Yeah.
Oh no, Meg, stop.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
It just never ends with you.
No,
It's gonna be
no,
good on you
no.
for being a live streamer and being
Look,
able to deal with it constantly though, and just like
it's become a
processing
challenge.
it.
Like, can we make Santa's head more red than his shirt?
You've only reached level 3. Just wait until you get to 5.
Oh my goodness, they're all naughty.
Scent has been naughty. Hey, whatever, man. I'm a Dr. Pepper man myself. I love me
And I
my
love
Dr.
this
Pepper.
zero sugar stuff. Oh my gosh,
Uh,
it's really good.
it's good for you, I'm sure.
No, it's tasty.
You got to keep the belly up, man. I mean, what are we at now? We're 8:28, so we're getting close to Christmas. Got to make sure you're filled in for the present drops. You know,
Nobody wants a skinny Santa.
nobody trusts a skinny Santa. Okay. All right. Well, moving forward, look, I'm a toy guy. You're a toy guy. You want to talk some
Oh,
toys?
yeah, sure. And I want to. Yesterday, I saw Yak Face announced a couple of lines coming out that are. I can't remember the name of the company. Let me pull them up here. I gotta go. I gotta go look them up. They you may have seen where they do these like Japanese inspired
Mm-hmm.
twists of Darth Vader and
Yep.
Maul and other characters.
The
Well, they
very
also make
samurai-esque stuff.
they are.
Yeah.
They also make very realistic, like normal line. So they've got like Ray and Boba Fett and a bunch of folks
Okay.
throughout all the movies that are very very realistic. And they announced two of them coming out tomorrow or coming out soon. They announced it just a day or two ago. Yeah, Mark will know the company. And I've got to look it up. But they look; these are Black Series scale, so they're like
6 inch.
6 inch
Yeah.
scale, and they are more of the hot toy kind of detail.
Wow.
So rather than pay 350, 400, $450 for a hot toy, you can get these now. The hot toys are bigger scale, right?
Right.
You can get these that are 6 inch scale around $100. So 100 much more affordable than 350. Now, I mean,
That's
350
still a lot of money for a 6-inch figure.
it's a lot of money for a 6 inch figure, right?
Yeah.
You could get four Black Series figures for that.
Yeah.
But my goodness, they're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. Let
I'm
me see if
interested to hear what the company is because I'm not aware of it. Generally, I stay away from kind of like the samurai Star Wars figures. I like things to be like as movie accurate as I can get them. I think I have a
Yeah,
couple funnies here and there, but
Yak Face announced them. I know Mark knows what it is, and he's in the chat. Uh, Mark is a major uh, toy collector.
oh,
Oh my goodness. The dude has the dude. There it
in
is.
he's in a car park with a green screen in his car.
No, SH Figure Arts.
Okay.
That's it. And if you Google them, they are amazing. And the Boba Fett ones that they have coming out from Mandalorian season 2 are unreal. Like
Really?
Tamora Morrison's face, his body shape, the clothing that he has is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm like, guys, let me see. I've got one
Now,
here.
is it soft goods, like a soft goods cape and stuff? Oh, is this a Bandai subsidiary?
Copy. Let me. I'll send it to you in the private chat, and then you can hit it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, hit that guy,
Okay. All right.
and then you can share that on screen. Look, it's unreal. Like it is so good. I want to review it, but
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Oh, the
yeah.
paint on that is just incredible.
It's unreal. Like the likeness of Tamora Morrison, the clothing, the paint, the accessories. It's amazing all the way around. You
Yeah,
gotta
that's stunning.
You got to share, right? I'm like $100. Oh,
I mean, that's a lot of money, but that's a really nice figure. But
I know, I know. You could like, well, 350 is gets me a hot toy.
yeah, we start doing mental gymnastics. We're like, oh god.
Oh, how do I spend $100 on this?
I just got the sideshow Luke, the deluxe with the Death Trooper and all that stuff.
Yes,
So I'm a little short on cash right now. But,
I know.
always looking for something else to spend money on.
My revenue has been down as well. Now, as soon as the Santa season starts up, I'll have plenty of revenue again. And there's Meg again. Just she's my skin tone has almost come back. So she's
Have they
been there.
unionized at this point? Is it time for? We didn't get the Clone Rebellion, so is it time for the Elvish Rebellion?
You are an instigator.
I am.
You are. You're terrible. You come into my live streams and you super chat it. So like I can't even like pretend
You
to
have no
ignore it.
choice but to read it.
I'm like, oh no, Xwing, what have you done to me? You're going to start the rebellion again. And all
God.
it takes is dropping one little piece in, and all of a sudden
Right?
my chat fills up, and you're like, my work here is done.
Yeah, that's what I do. It, and then I leave and I go back to work. I'm like,
Like, you dirty, rotten
Good.
scoundrel.
good. So, anywho, so the only thing I haven't seen so far, and I don't know if you're gonna get one or not. I would really like to is the HasLab Rancor.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It
$300.
Depends on the price point, right?
I think they
Like,
said $300.
that's speculation.
Oh,
They haven't
okay.
released the amount yet. Just based on what other HasLab projects have run, um, it's probably a safe bet that it's going to be in that. And if you look at how they just did a Marvel guy, and they just met their first goal, and now they're bringing out the add-ons. And so
Right.
Galactus, right? You look at Galactus, and you're like, okay, that's a figure, not a ship. How much was he? How much will this Rancor be? And that's how they're coming up with that.
Well, the gosh, what was it called? Jabba's sail barge. I would have probably done horrible things like prison time to get one of those things. And it's just never gonna I'm never gonna get one, man, because the people that wanted them were willing to pay a premium, and then there were the guys who bought them to sell them, and they sold them at astronomical cost.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what
I've
you
got
gonna do?
3 of the Razor Crests on order, and that's where all
The
my
HasLab
liquidity
Razor
went.
Chris?
Yeah, yeah.
That was like a grand. That was like a cool grand.
Yeah, $1,200 in.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Okay.
My plan is to sell 2 at least $650 each,
I mean, you came on my channel, so I should probably put my name in.
and if I can sell the 2 to get my $1,200 back, and I'll end up with mine for free.
That's what a lot of collectors do with Black Series helmets.
Yeah.
You know, you buy them for like 120, and then people stick them up on eBay for 200 because they're in stock. Because as soon as that first runs out, you're waiting another 6 months, before you can even get them again. So,
Yeah, and that Razor Crest is amazing. It's going to come with Grogu in a metal Priam, and so
oh,
they're
nice.
doing a vacuum seal of the metal, like tin, to make that instead of plastic.
Oh, I want it.
I want it so bad. Yeah, so I'm hoping that I get some blurgs to order before then.
I watched the stream on the blurgs. You're very upset about the blurgs, aren't you?
I am very upset about the blurgs. I need more blurgs. Like, and if Martin drops in, Zuvium, right? I've got this Mission Fleet blurg. That's fine, and he's great for little Grogu to ride on, right? This is my vintage collection scale Grogu.
That works.
Right?
Yeah.
It works, right? Like, he's got a little handle there to hold on to. He can learn to ride his baby blurg. That's great. Good fun.
Sure.
But I have no vintage collection blurg. There's no Black Series blurg. There's no like mainline blurgs out there, and like, come on now,
If you
It's in
have
now.
a dewback, you need to have a blurg.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just
And,
speciesist.
Blurgs are everywhere. they're in like I've been going back on Disney Plus and watching the old Ewok movies. Blurgs are in those, right?
Yep.
Like, they're everywhere, and I don't know why they can't get it
Have you
right.
written a letter yet?
Uh, no, but I went on to uh, I, all I can think of is his name. His show uh, for his birthday. Um, he does toy reviews all the time. I know
Bosk?
my yeah, Boss Bounty.
Yeah,
I went
Boss
on
Bounty.
I went on Tim's show for his birthday, and we talked about it. And Tim was actually invited by Hasbro on their collectors forums, and so he's at that level, and Tim is actively fighting to get uh, some blurgs as well. So every time he puts up a video, Boss Bounty video,
Talking
and I
about
get a
blurs.
chance, I go in and say, "Hey, I need my blurg. I want it to be in the comments." And I know that Hasbro folks show up every so often, and
Mm,
and
like a scouting agency.
well,
They're sitting there seeing what people want.
it's like the House of Mouse, right? They're out there watching to see what's going on, and
Yeah.
so they're out there watching to see what's going on, and they're certainly aware of Tim, Boss Bounty, and so I love what he's doing there, and I really hope that we get those blurgs.
I think we
And,
should get him in this scale.
mm,
I think we should get him in the 31-inch clone trooper scale. I think that would be
nice,
ideal. Yeah.
nice. Yeah. So, but you were saying, I'm sorry, I kind of went way down a rabbit hole, and didn't
What was
let
I talking about?
you about getting something. We're talking about toys and getting something.
Oh,
And
you know what I want badly, and I would be shocked if they didn't do it, is some Black Series Clone Force 99 helmets, some Bad Batch helmets.
oh,
There's a lot of
yes,
repros out there right now. A lot of people are doing some actually pretty good ones for not that much money, but just to have the Black Series one, I think would be awesome. I would love to have an Echo and a Wrecker helmet.
yeah. There's a guy in our Discord, Major Props, who makes
Hmm.
customs, and
Yep,
he
I
makes
know his stuff.
beautiful, beautiful customs. And yeah, so you can get them like you can get blurgs. You can get them from customs, but they need to start releasing those in mainline.
They've got
Um,
a plethora of stuff they can pull from to make
ex-
toys that will sell like absolutely crazy, you know?
Look, the repaints. It's not like the helmets don't exist,
Yeah.
right? Like the molds
Yeah.
are out there. Just you know,
I'm trying to
new paint
think.
job.
Oh, you know what the one I want that they haven't released yet is an ARC Trooper.
Oh,
An ARC Trooper with some repaints on it, because you could get the Embara campaign, which is the black one with the orange on it. I haven't
yeah.
seen a 332nd Ahsoka clone yet. Actually, I haven't seen any Phase 2 clones from Hasbro at all.
Um, you mean helmets?
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
helmet guy. I have so many helmets.
yeah. I know, I know. That's why I asked, just to be
Yeah,
clear. Like,
yeah.
there are some figures out there, but right, like a Black Series helmet, I haven't seen them. Right.
Yeah. A Phase 2 Ahsoka, like a 332nd Clone Trooper helmet, would sell out immediately.
Oh, yeah. Oh, immediately. Right.
So if anybody at Hasbro's looking, for anybody, I don't know if we got any scouts in here, but just put me in, coach. I got ideas. This is
Right.
the best.
Right.
This is the best I have right now.
That's not going to fit on your noggin.
No, not
Yeah.
quite. I don't even the full size ones barely do anyway. So, well,
Yeah.
that was a wonderful stream. I don't really. I mean,
Well, there's
unless
one
you got
more,
some
right? We talked
closing.
a lot
Yeah, you
about
got something.
Yeah, we talked about one guy who's blue with red eyes, but there's
Oh my
another
gosh!
guy
Yep.
who's blue with red eyes that I am absolutely thrilled to death that we're going to get in the Book of Boba Fett is Cad Bane. Look, Cad Bane to me is my favorite by far bounty hunter across the board. Better than Boba Fett, better than everybody.
Hmm.
Cad Bane he's my man, right? So I've got
Seems
that.
to be a lot of people's opinion.
Like I've got that bet with very nice, very nice Xwing. I've got the bet with Sheev over if Boba Fett kills Cad Bane in any canon, then I have to switch out my winter cabin for Vader's lair.
Oh,
For an entire week of live streams, I have to be in Vader's lair. However, if Cad Bane dies by somebody else or some other means, or any way other than Boba Fett, then Sheev the Wise will be taking a vacation to Santa's winter cabin for a week.
so my question would be, how direct does that? So if he shoots Cad Bane and Cad Bane falls into a Sarlacc pit, or he falls off a building and dies, is that still considered a Boba Fett kill?
I would give that a Boba Fett kill.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I would do that. But
Just so long as he instigates the killing maneuver.
right, that he isn't then doesn't recover and killed by some other means. So Sheev could not take a win, for example, saying that since the duel has already happened and Boba Fett shot Cad Bane in the noggin, and that Cad Bane's reflexes are slower, and when Cad Bane gets shot by Fennec Shand or somebody else and he dies, he can't say, "Oh, Boba Fett did that because he was slower." No,
That's fair.
No,
Yeah.
Sheev, you don't get that.
I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, I can't wait, and I think they'd be crazy. First of all, I think they'd be crazy to kill Cad Bane, right? Like,
Yeah.
why would you do that? So I really don't think I feel pretty safe about not having to spend a week in Vader's lair anytime soon. Let's put it.
But
that way.
he's not in the lineup in the OT when they're the most famous bounty hunters in the galaxy on that Star Destroyer. He's not there.
He's not.
So
Neither is Fennec Shand.
yeah,
And she shows
also
up
true.
in The Mandalorian. And if we get Cad, oh no, what have you done?
You're in trouble now.
What's up, buddy?
How you guys doing?
Good.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Are we talking about a certain bounty hunter?
We are
and
talking about a certain
Oh,
bounty
no.
hunter.
I don't think there's any way that Cad Bane. I don't know. For me, so he's just someone that I'm not super familiar with. I'm a Boba Fett guy. I'm just a Boba Fett guy. I've always been a Boba Fett guy. I'll continue to be a Boba Fett guy. So I think we see some awesome stuff in Book of Boba, and he just murks him. He murks him.
For sure.
Shoots him
No.
right in the middle of the street like an old western. Bam, dead.
Now that already happened, and he's got a tin plate to prove it.
Yeah, but don't you think them bringing him back is just going to be a rematch, Santa?
Mhm.
I do think that we're going to end up. So there's been a lot of speculation about what the Book of Boba Fett is about, and I'm still on the train that it's his book of
People to kill.
vengeances,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
he's
That's
got
what
a
I
list
think,
of,
too.
He's got a list of people he wants knocked off, and each one will be a different, like, the episode will be titled whoever it is that he's got the beef against, right? So episode 1, whomever, right?
First
And
name
so-
on the list. Yeah.
Right. First name on the list. And that episode will be about going to get that person. And so we're going to get an episode called Cad Bane. And he'll be searching down Cad Bane, and we will see if he is able to execute Cad Bane, or if maybe Cad Bane survives again.
I had this cool idea that what we saw at the end of Mando was the end of Book of Boba Fett season 1, where he shoots Bib Fortuna and takes the throne.
Yeah.
So like right after, and this would be kind of a bad batch where people were happier with the second to last episode than they were with the actual last episode, but he works his way up, and I know Meg and I feel the same way about this. He takes his
That's fine.
father's blasters, right? The Westar blasters, finds Mace Windu, and explains to him a real Inigo Montoya moment. You killed my father. Prepare to die. And takes his Westar blasters.
That's fantastic.
And takes down Mace Windu. And then the last part of the season is he walks up and ices Bib Fortuna, and he's taken over the criminal underworld. You know?
And Stanley's put it well. It's Boba's Blacklist. So the book, The Blacklist.
Yeah, there you go.
or
Yes.
The TV
That's a
show.
good way to do it.
That is really, yeah.
Yeah, I was explaining to my normie girlfriend, like, because she works at a Funko Pop store, and they just got in the holiday special edition of him with like the blue armor and everything.
Yeah.
So I was like explaining to her about that, and I was like, yeah, like at the time, like Boba Fett was a big toy, and like everybody like knew about him before Empire even came out, and like all this. And then I was like, yeah, I never understood why people liked him because he never did much. And then we see him go ham and Mando, and I was like, all right, I get it. Yeah, I'd read like old Legends Boba Fett books, and like as a kid, I liked them a lot. As I got older, I kind of forgot about those books and like how cool he really was and everything. So
Yeah.
I love him.
Bamf.
I love what they're doing with this character, and I cannot wait to see him kill Cad bane.
All killer, no filler, baby. All killer, no filler.
Oh no, Cad bane! They can't kill Cad bane. I just don't think it'll happen that way. So yeah.
Santa, just a reminder, Cad bane would be probably in his 70s in this show. So I don't think he's the same old bounty hunter that we used to know. Plus the fact that he has a big old metal head from the last time he tried to fight Boba. I don't think he's making it out of the show alive.
You saw Clint Eastwood in his last Western.
Yeah.
He lives.
Nicky's about to get wrenched talking like that.
Fair enough, Santa. I think Clint Eastwood would be a really cool person to play Cad bane at this point too, since they're both old as Mike Porter.
You know who'd be good is Clint Eastwood's kid.
That would be cool.
What's his name?
Yeah. Heck, they could just do Brandon Wayne.
Brandon Wayne. Yeah, he's already playing Din Djarin. So
exactly,
yeah, that's John Wayne's grandson.
There you go.
That would be really cool.
So you
guys,
get
please stop putting human age on non-human characters. It doesn't even make sense. That's extremely ageist. Okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah, he's an old guy, but you know, Cad bane.
I love you, Pat. I want to be just messing.
Is the coolest, at least for me, the coolest bounty hunter that ever was. So, look, and how cool would it be to get like Brandon Wayne, like John Wayne's grandson and Clint Eastwood's grandson, playing different characters in the Mandoverse? Dude.
And it harkens all the way back to A New Hope too, because Snoodles or whatever his name was, that's John Wayne talking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Cool.
The schnout guy, yeah, that's John Wayne. That's John Wayne.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool.
Well, and I know Meg and Nikki, it's been suggested that they may do an After Dark kind of show because both of them are filthy.
Filthy little Skittles.
Well, that's Sheev.
Yes, that would be me.
Okay.
And to that last comment about Yoda being 700, I think he was like closer to 800 really, or like almost 900 at that point. But he also ages differently, and I researched this during a video that I did previously on my channel, and Cad bane's species ages very similar to that of humans. So
they do.
That's why I said he would be around 70.
Yeah, they do. They most humanoid characters in Star Wars age similar to humans.
Most.
Right? There may be a slight difference, but they're in very similar age. So whether it's a Chiss or Cad bane or any
Twi'lek,
of the others, Twi'lek, they're humanoid kind of looking.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice. Cool. Well, I mean, I just want to see. I'm looking forward to a more gritty, more dark, very heavy show, and I'm hoping Boba Fett delivers on that.
Oh yeah. From what we've heard,
we got the kid show. We got the kid show. Give me something I can chew on.
Well, let me throw this out there. Just stir to the pot, to make people really mad. We could get Cad bane kill Boba Fett. Din Djarin takes the Slave One, renames it to something else because they've been dying to do that. So we end up with a dead Boba Fett and a renamed Slave One.
Ear warning. No.
No.
Just no.
Hey, if anyone's gonna not kill Cad bane, I will bring up an argument for you, Santa. We did see him fight Fennec Shand, and who's Boba's right hand man in this show? Fennec Shand,
right.
right hand woman, really. So,
Right.
I mean, I think if anyone's gonna do it, maybe Cad Bane will be close to killing Boba, and then she'll put a bullet through his head or
Well,
something.
let's talk about that season finale of The Mandalorian season 2. Fennec Shand is on there, kicking butt. Where's Boba Fett? Right? He doesn't come back. Like, he drops her off, and then he's supposed to, exit. He does, but he never comes back. And then we go into Jabba's palace. Who's doing the work? Fennec Shand, right? Boba Fett just walks in after the fact.
He comes in and gets the final kill.
Right. All he does is, shoots Bib Fortuna. So she is his muscle. And if Fennec Shand kills Cad Bane on Boba Fett's order as his muscle, still's a loss for Sheev the Wise.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
No, 100%. And I mean, we do know the Fetts have a history of sourcing their work.
Yeah. And I just thought it was weird that, like, once Boba Fett left, he never came back at all. Like, he just vamoosed.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was weird too, but like I think that was part of the plan of the mission, and who knows what happened after Luke Skywalker left. Like, they were gonna take that ship to try and reclaim Mandalore. I was watching that episode the other day, so that's why I remembered that line. But yeah, that's what the whole plan was. They were gonna retake that ship and rescue Grogu at the same time, and she was gonna try and get the Darksaber. So now they have the ship. Din has the Darksaber. Luke has Grogu, and he dipped out of there. So who knows if Boba Fett doesn't come back in to snatch up Fennec Shand. And similarly to how the Rebels epilogue is kind of like further down the line than we actually think, I think it's possible that this post-credit scene with Boba and Fennec, like Xwing thought, that it could be happening later on in this show, or, at a different time period than we initially think.
I just want to look at this comment real quick and ask, what did he say? What? Get out of here.
I couldn't help myself. So, have to forgive me. If that actually did come to fruition, there would be meltdown across the internet. So
yeah, that's an understatement.
I only did that to stir the pot and be ornery.
You're a troll. You trolled it.
I couldn't help it.
I thought I was the troll.
She was definitely the troll in my chats. And what he does is he tries to put chats in there for me to accidentally click on. Right? I'm like,
accidentally? Nope. I do it in the hope that you do.
I know. I'm like, nope, not clicking on that one. Nope, not clicking on that one.
Can you imagine? Fennec, blinded by Cad, accidentally hits Boba's jetpack, and he's back in the Sarlacc.
Oh god!
Yes.
And scene. Oh my god!
Oh my gosh!
Watch him just die of old age.
Both of them should die of old age, and then I still win the bet.
As best friends, like you said.
Yeah. I said they're going to get these, the 2 half of hearts, and then, best friends forever, and they're going to split them, and Boba Fett will wear one, and Cad Bane will wear the other.
Oh, yes. Let's become best friends with my dad's rival.
Oh, God. Okay, guys, I got a boot scoot. Unfortunately, I have to go to work. I didn't realize we had gone as long as we did. I want to hear, before we all sign off, your best Wilhelm scream.
I'm not going first. That was bad.
Thank you guys for coming to the show. I appreciate it. Happy
Much
Saturday. Love. I love you guys.
So much
May the
fun.
force be
Thanks
with
so
you,
much.
okay?